last time on Danganronpa 2, Nagito died. And we're
Also,
considering it could have been a suicide.
I just want to point out, note the name of the spear. That's not the same spear as was in the anime. Two
Gungnir?
very different. Yeah, in the anime it
Oh,
was
right.
J-Bulk.
Except, oddly enough, I looked up on TV tropes, and they call it Gungnir on there.
In which?
On the TV tropes
For,
page for that anime.
well, then they get it wrong.
Or was originally Gungnir and got changed to Gabolg for the translation. Either way, so one arm and two legs all slashed up, potentially self-inflicted or inflicted by someone trying to get information out of him, like, say, Sonia or whatever. Three limbs tied down, one limb, it looks like it tried to get tied down. We cannot see where the, other end of the rope was. Stabbed down in place with a knife and a spear wedged into his stomach, but strictly speaking, potentially died from poison, asphyxiation. Is this going to turn out to be, yeah, you have to figure out the exact person who threw the fire grenade laced with poison?
Maybe.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your argument. If you vote correct, I'll punish everyone beside. Oh my, Monami, you've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the...
Oh yeah, and Monami got really angry about stuff.
One more... Jeez! This will be my... It's useless. Please stop. You're right. Now's not the time for the victim. This time is
Hi, Cinnamon.
Nagito, who is attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake. Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
If he was killed for trying to reveal the traitor, that traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
No, that might not be it.
Huh? Are you trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger. Wait. Don't tell me.
Don't say something so stupid. There's no way in hell I'm the traitor.
Soda was very suspicious during that whole period.
Now
with the
that's
bombs.
more like it.
Who do you think the traitor is?
I mean, I have an idea, but I don't want to say.
Okay.
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
Hi.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up.
What were they trying to find out by torturing him?
Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence.
Can we prove
There's
that we...
no way I'd torture someone.
I mean, there is a way that you torture someone. No, with a wound. My computer has frozen. Why is my computer freezing, Cinnamon?
Or one of our connections.
No,
There
like,
we go.
the game froze, OBS froze. My computer froze.
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they
It's
were
obviously not
torturing
torture
him.
wounds.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito. Crap! The killer didn't...
Cinnamon, no claws. Okay, so
I'm
there's some
telling
sort
you,
of
they were
hint about...
torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito. Crap! The killer didn't tape Nagito's
tape.
mouth to shut him up.
Duct tape.
I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer No, that's wrong.
Yeah, how can you interrogate someone with their mouth taped up?
But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything.
Yes!
If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like that.
I'm prepared. Ah, I just realized it. It's a trap.
Trap?
Stupid Hajime. You got caught in that trap. Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. They wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention. This is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him,
No, no, no.
they duct taped his mouth shut.
No.
Whew, that was close, you guys. Thanks to me, you guys didn't get caught in a trap. Pay attention. This is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him,
No.
they duct taped his mouth shut.
Shoot. Doesn't help that there's a cat on me so I can't see the buttons I'm trying to hit. Trying to find the X button isn't exactly easy on a keyboard. But I'm a gamer. I know what the X button is. Yes, yeah, this one. The blood that splattered on his face didn't have the tape on it, so any blood that happened...
Yeah, so that's why you have to hit after he was killed.
Yeah.
Pay attention. This is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location.
Okay, have fun, Cinnamon.
Then, after they killed him,
Now,
Allow me to cut through those words. No, there's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
what did you say?
Who cares about the duct tape? We might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors.
That's out of left
We don't
field.
need to play a game. It's clear the
That's
duct
not
tape was
cute.
on his mouth.
Why do you always side with Hajime?
You were with us when I peeled the duct. The blood on Nagito's face wasn't on.
The blood on his face came from his arm wounds, which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so we wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer? If so, it's friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this... If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
They really didn't destroy much evidence.
The warehouse fire?
Can't think of any other...
But who could have done... When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse. Yeah, and right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back. Which means It is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
The killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
Some kind of setup? Like what?
I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect. Alrighty then. Let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
Damn right it is!
The oil light thingy. The oil lighter.
The direct cause of the fire, the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
It's the Monokuma panels.
Meh.
Crap!
Remember? They were lined up like dominoes.
The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene.
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised
No.
fuse?
Crap!
The direct cause of the
The
fire
oil
was
wasn't an improvised
the
fuse.
lighter
The
found at
oil
crime
was
scene, right?
The killer
From
used
the
some
lighter.
kind of
But you gotta
setup.
wait for a later statement.
He lit the curtain on fire
The
with the
oil
lighter.
wasn't used as an
Some
improvised
kind of
fuse.
setup?
So,
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter.
no.
Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
No.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Oh,
damn it.
it was upside down.
Crap!
The direct cause of the oil lighter found at the crime scene.
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They
I
probably
saw
just
tip it
based
over
on the
and
shape of that
put
oil,
it
it
down.
can stand upright.
If they tipped over the lighter in some, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door caused.
I agree with that.
I agree. The door had been opened.
I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
Just as I thought, it was the wind pressure.
No, not wind pressure. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma pits. It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second. And from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark...
And one more thing. There was something else that...
The music.
I see! You're You're talking about the MP3 player, right? That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was
So the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when
A
we
locked
opened the
door.
door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter.
Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem.
I feel like good enough left.
I see! If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you...
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used.
You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
You don't mean...
Hajime?
Oh. Da 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 da.
This is my answer.
It was
Anya.
Sonia.
It was Nagito.
Why'd you bring him?
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Huh?
Not just the victim.
He was the victim. And
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
but Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible. To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
He didn't tie both
Couldn't do much
arms.
with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Go.
Dirty joke!
Wow.
Is that a dirty joke?
To
Okay.
actually tie up your own arms and legs.
I think it's the burned rope.
That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
No?
Crap!
To actually tie up your own arms and legs.
They weren't all tied up.
Exactly.
That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would...
You couldn't do much with it. It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth?
Or if you use your...
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
To actually tie up your own...
No, that's wrong. Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
I mean, the knife being in that hand specifically, or...
Crap!
I
And
see.
the wound marks.
Take a close look at his right sleeve. Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural. That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
Yeah, that should be the case.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a...
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
Oh gosh, what is this game?
That's definitely wrong.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from it.
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito. I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right...
Hajime, you tricked me! Give me back that Benjamin!
Hold on.
Then hurry up and...
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall,
It's wrong?
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
if he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow? And slammed his right hand down
The
on it?
Monokuma doll.
Propped it onto what?
If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right hand. Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right...
If he threw the knife in and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
I agree with that. The life-size Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach. He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it. If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or
A bleeding plushie is soup.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
Origin point.
He probably thought the fire would incinerate.
So what do you think now?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand. The spear. Basically, you're saying, if you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito. If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so...
I'm sorry, I didn't
Oh,
catch
God.
on that.
Like I said, if you...
Say it one more time.
Hey, bastard, you better...
Like she
God.
said,
Yeah.
in that condition, it's very difficult. It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stab into your right hand,
So you're saying it's
but no matter what I think, I can't...
To think that one of us could kill some...
You say you can't believe it? But that's why you keep getting betrayed.
You just shut your mouth if you even think about doing.
But it's just as much. This might also be the same.
Then are you saying there is a killer?
Of course, that doesn't include.
As Kazuichi said, it's... But even if I'm betrayed again, no matter how many times I may be betrayed...
I also want to believe that there's no killer. But suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible. I feel that there's...
What kind?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. That's how. We made it this far up till now.
Everyone working together.
All right, let's...
Blood on the left hand.
There we go.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
No, that's wrong! Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left...
Why?
But there was something off about the bloodstain on the palm of his hand. He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point...
When the blood splattered.
That settles the description of that bloodstain. Look, there's blood on the back of his hand.
Like you said, it looks like an unnatural...
We might need to think and use... If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand...
Ripping.
I see! When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his palm and the back of his hand.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
Perish the thought!
Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild. He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
But even if he held the spear with his tied-up left hand...
Hey, Chiaki, what do you... Hey, don't tell me you're...
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle. Just like fixing an old TV.
Oh, I got it.
Huh?
Yeah, like I thought. However, what's important...
The cord.
I see! That's it. Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding on to the cord. There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. The joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about this?
Ah, you're right. So this is the... And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was...
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides. I am sorry. Of course this... It seems we are stuck.
At a time like... How about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
That's a long plan.
One step at a time.
Let's focus on the spear first.
How it was possessed.
Uh-oh. What is it? Select control key. Foof. Whee!
Above.
Oh. No! Alley-oop.
No, Claire, they're not friendliness pellets.
Ceiling gutter. Ah! Alley-oop. Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
Ah, I almost got it. Rope on his right. No. Sphere's gold. Yeah, sometimes I don't actually have the time to actually read all of the answers.
It's all coming together.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
The spear impaled Nagito as he was laying face up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
Perpendicular. In the...
If Nagito did that all by himself,
That'd be awesome, but he probably used the...
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder, and using that as a support, he hoisted the spear directly above him. And if Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
Or during the execution.
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling. So, how about it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.
Are you serious? He really committed suicide? Like that?
Alright, cool. Now time for the entire case to turn on its head because it's never as easy as we actually expect, and turns out someone murdered him and set it up to look like an elaborate suicide.
He probably chose that spear. If someone else did this, there's no reason they go to...
I agree. When I was investigating this case, why did the killer use the knife and the spear?
So you're saying he needed to use that spear to pull off...
Then he really... Every single wound on his body. That was all him?
Not just that, he did all that while he was gripping the spear? That spear should not have stabbed Nagito until the very end. Which means Nagito wounded himself while he was gripping that spear, right?
Did he put the duct tape on his mouth, too?
He probably covered his own mouth so we wouldn't hear him screaming in pain.
Did he need to go that far? That's beyond crazy.
He was probably trying to get us to make a mistake. By committing a suicide that looked like a murder, he was trying to steer us toward the wrong answer. His goal was to get us all executed.
And that's...
Did he want us to die that...
That's messed up.
Yeah.
I can't believe I only just realized, but the X's on some of the portraits are changed to more better stylize the character.
Oh?
Yeah, like on the nurse, it's like tilted, so it's like a plus sign, like a hospital plus.
Okay.
On Gundam, it has like an extra like font to it.
However, there is one
See?
thing I still do not understand. He said he would reveal the traitor, right? Whatever became of that?
Chapter 5! It took me this long to realize.
Planning to kill the traitor along with the rest of us.
So why did he not just do that in the first place? If he had no qualms with killing everyone, he did not—
I bet the bomb scare was part of the strategy behind this trick.
Oh yeah, hers...
He made us split up and search for a bomb so none of us would have an alibi.
At least one of hers looked like a drumstick.
He created a scenario where any of us could have killed him.
He tried to make us doubt each other and tried to hide the truth behind his suicide.
Did he cause a bomb scare for that reason alone?
He's a fucking bastard who killed himself for his delusions of grandeur. It's not that unthinkable.
You are right, I suppose.
Yeah, it appears we've come to a conclusion. The bastard Nagito committed suicide. It was all done by him so we'd be executed.
That should be okay.
What?
No, I agree that Nagito killed himself, but I feel like there's something that doesn't make sense. It's probably just my imagination.
See, his has like the lines on the X's.
So what are you gonna do? Is it okay to proceed with the voting time?
What do you
Wait.
think, Akane?
Did he not use the poison? Did someone else figure out that he was going to do this elaborate suicide and thought, no, I'm going to kill you first, and planted the poison in his fridge?
Well, there's no doubt Nagito's death.
You are right. It is not as though—
Then that means we're done with this last class trial and we can leave this island, right? It's okay to reach such a happy ending, right?
Then it's okay? It's okay. Understood.
No, hold on a sec.
Hold on.
Sorry, just a little more. I can't help but feel like...
Like who the traitor is?
But the issue here is who killed Nagito.
That's true, but...
The mystery isn't just about who the traitor is. No matter how you look at it, I'm a little worried, you know? I'm worried about starting the voting time while there's still a mystery.
Hey, what do you mean it's not about—
There's just one thing that doesn't make sense. Plus, it's something even Nagito couldn't influence. He couldn't even tamper with the evidence for it.
You're gonna keep going? Here, I thought we were finally finished.
The poison. And also the piece of blue paper. But the poison.
Crap!
Even he couldn't mess with. Wait, which one?
Crap!
Azura?
I don't know. What are the options? So,
Monokuma file. He couldn't mess with this.
No, okay, that's definitely not that.
Torture runes he did. Burned rope he did. Swavel knife he did. Blood he did. Duct tape he did. Spear. Plushie. Blood on the girder. Monokuma panels. Oil lighter. MP3 player. Sony's account. Monokuma's account. Monami's notebook. The gas mask and gloves. The blue paper. The poison. That's apparently not it. And the Academy file.
It's either the Academy file or either Sonya or Monokuma's accounts. Those are the only things that. Wait, what is
Crap!
Nope, and we lose.
Uh-oh.
Hey, we finally lose one. Yeah, see, hers is like a cross.
This is my...
Yes.
We will never give up!
Okay, so I guess one of the accounts then? She found out that the bombs were fake, and Monokuma knew that the bombs were fake.
I think go with Monokuma's account.
Crap!
Nope, a piece of evidence that he couldn't tamper with. That...
No.
Crap!
Nope.
Crap!
Nope.
Is it the gas mask?
Crap!
Nope. Is it one that we don't have? Is it the file?
I see!
It's the Monokuma file. Okay, how did
Is it
he
the
not
Monokuma file?
Yeah.
tamper with anything
Huh?
involved in
There was
this?
something to...
It's believed to be noon sharp. Is that the thing? I have no flippin' idea. Time of death? No.
Cause of death. The cause of death isn't listed.
I know that we complained a lot.
We need ease. There's an O ready for you on the right.
Yeah. Okay, seriously. Why were there so flippin' many things all of a sudden? Was that a trait we got? Like 10 times the amount of numbers appear all of a sudden?
This is my... We will never give up!
Like, it's usually not that flooded. We're usually starving for ones, and this time it's... insane.
Grab that O that's waiting for you.
Flippin'! Why?
I don't know.
In this particular case's Monokuma file, there's no specific cause of death.
Isn't that weird? Until now, the files always specified the cause of death.
But the cause of death is obvious, is it not?
It is not.
The spear in Nagito's stomach. It is obvious just by looking at it that it was the cause of death.
Maybe it's not included if it's not important enough to write about.
Well, Monokuma, I plead the fifth!
There he goes again! I'm so appalled that I have nothing to say.
But even during Gundam's case, and before during Mikan's case, the thing he purposely omitted from the Monokuma file was always the most important mystery in the case.
Are you saying that
Hold on a sec. Are you suggesting again?
You guys were the ones who said it was a
No, I don't think it's a mistake, but it's... Come to think of, did Nagito really?
Are you sticking up?
That's not what I meant. I mean...
bad scent?
I just remembered that his malice always defied our expectations. For example, would that malice just end here?
Huh?
Did Nagito's malice drive him to risk his life for a truth we'd reach this easily? I mean, this is Nagito...
Because you believe in his malice, I see. I guess that's...
What French...
What should we do, you guys? I think we should keep going until everyone...
You're right.
Just to be safe, huh? Guess I have no choice.
This is friggin' annoying. But if you guys say you're doing it, there's no way I'm gonna back out.
Hey, Monokuma, you heard us.
We've come this far. That's what I...
Oh, and that's right.
Okay. Yeah, is Monami somehow possessed by Nagito now?
That's an interesting theory.
Because Monami has been acting strange for a little while.
She has, yes.
No, no.
Yeah, you're the only one who didn't know. Astral Bazume!
I'm Monami. By now, there's nothing. Anyway, everyone is united. That's
Everyone is united against
I'm gonna
despair.
fight. I will fight the only way I can. That's
So if we're working together, where do we start? With the cause of death missing from the
Why don't we try removing all our... In the beginning, our discussion advanced. It's better to confirm if there are any
other
If something other than the spear killed Nagito...
That was definitely a gruesome wound.
If you think the cuts on his legs and left arm aren't the fatal...
Are we finished off?
I feel like...
Then let's bring up whatever we can think.
Exactly. We Let us consider a different fatal wound.
It's not the knife in his right hand, right? It's not the other wounds, right?
With all those wounds, maybe he simply bled to death.
There's no way he burned to death.
Was the cause of death something that cannot be seen?
Crap!
Is the poison
Let us
itself
consider
more
a different fatal wound.
Torture him, Bernard.
It's
Oh,
not the
here it
knife in
is.
his right hand, right? It's not the other wound.
With all those wounds, maybe
I was
he
looking for
simply bled to
poison.
death.
There's no
Hell
way
yeah.
he burned to death.
Was the cause of death something...
I agree with that.
It's a little something something that cannot be seen.
That's
Poison!
it. I told... If the cause of death was something we can't see...
Poison?
It is true that poison is not something we can see.
I remember when I went to invest... Inside the refrigerator, I found a...
Additionally, that's... I see. Now that you mention it, there's no...
If poison was a cause...
However, it's common for blood blotches to appear on a body that's been poisoned.
I see. You sure seem...
What does that mean?
But, even if blood blotches appear, if the body was already covered in blood, there's no way we'd notice them easily, right?
Did he wound his body just to camouflage them?
That's also a possibility.
But still, both of Nagito's hands were full. So how would he drink poison?
His left hand was tied up and gripping the spear, and his right hand had a knife stuck in it.
If it was a slow-acting poison, it is possible he consumed it in advance.
No, the warning label on the bottle explicitly states the effect is instant.
Then it's impossible. Both his hands were full just before he died.
And this is when the hardtail...
You're totally overvaluing that tail.
His mouth was covered with duct tape, you know. If he wanted to drink poison...
If there's no way he could have drank the poison... Just kidding.
Are there any...
Hell no! No matter how you slice...
Since we've already ruled out so many possibilities. Operation Elimination Method.
Inhalation. Meow. Gas. Ooh, narrowboats this time. Alright, we can do this. Whee! Oh shoot, all the way back here? That's lame. Okay, that was pathetic. Alright, focus better.
Yeah, try not to walk off the edge. Oh, you should have been able to make that. That was cheap.
How about I just do like this? Not quite.
Almost. Once more with feeling.
Eh. 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 Question 2. So it's nose because it was inhalation. How did... Okay, we done!
It's all coming together.
Oh yeah. It's all coming together.
What if instead of drinking, it's written on the poison? Dangerous when vaporized. In other
Poison gas! Then all he had to do...
He breathed that poisonous gas, and but if poisonous gas had spread...
The sprinklers?
It's either the sprinklers or the smoke, so let's try the sprinklers first.
I see. The sprinklers in the warehouse. Thanks to those, we didn't inhale that poison gas.
The poison gas disappeared because of the sprinklers?
Well, this was also...
So if it's in air, it breaks down in minutes and is susceptible to hydrolysis.
Of course! Hydrolysis!
Hydrolysis,
The chemical bonds
yeah.
that formed the poison were broken down by the water from the sprinklers!
Also, the poison is apparently denser than air, so it probably didn't affect us because we were standing.
But Nagito was laying down, so he must have...
If it meets the requirements that well.
Yeah, the true cause of the wounds on his body, the spear in his stomach.
So what?
Huh?
We figured out that Nagito died from poison, but so what? In the end, it doesn't change the fact that he committed suicide, right? Then enough already!
No, it matters, Soda.
Nagito inhaled the poison he prepared and died. Yeah, that's...
Well, with this, we have a clearer picture. We've also determined the true cause of death. All right. All the mysteries should be solved.
What?
What? There's...
Hey, what happened?
There might have been an accomplice.
Chiaki!
If Nagito committed suicide by inhaling poison that he brought, then why wasn't there anything that looked like poison at the crime scene?
Anything that looked like poison?
If Nagito brought poison to the warehouse, it's strange that we couldn't find it there.
The container. The meat on the bone? Sorry,
see.
what?
That was back from the
Are
first
you
case.
talking about the container the poison was kept in?
Yeah. If Nagito brought...
He can't carry around poison with...
Yeah, that was written on the...
The container probably melted in the fire.
It's probably plastic or glass, right? There's no way it'd completely incinerate. Even the plastic fragments of the fire grenades we used to put out the fire didn't completely burn up, you know?
Okay, now make the connection.
Then, does that mean someone got rid of the...
So that's why you mentioned it?
I mean...
Like, I mean, even if he had an accomplice...
You're right. Someone might have accidentally...
Ah, you're right!
Right? Isn't it okay to close...
That's no good.
Huh?
I feel like Nagito. By calling this Nagito's suicide, we're trying. But if Nagito was here right now, he'd probably say something like, "So that's
So Nagito's ghost. The power of still that.
Shut up! You just
I get what you're saying, but even if we solve this mystery, the conclusion won't change.
I mean, it'd be a
Even if there really was an accomplice, like Fuyuhiko said earlier, it is possible that.
But I just can't imagine in.
It's fine, okay? And we probably just didn't notice it. Like maybe the container was hiding with the fire grenade fragments.
There you go. Not flipping again.
Okay, it's fire grenade.
Like, seriously, how was I supposed to stop that
was
one?
Bullshit.
Bite me.
Perfect. Well, aside from like the one that was completely out of your control.
Yes.
It literally spawned in on the same spot.
Yes.
I see. I got it.
Huh?
The fire grenades. Nagito put the poison inside one of the fire grenade canisters and transported it to the warehouse.
He used one of the fire grenade canisters?
Yeah, the container with the poison in it wasn't secretly taken away by someone. Instead, it was in a container that didn't need to be taken away in the first place. As long as he put the poison in the same container he brought to the warehouse, it can be hidden with the other fire grenades we used, so there's no need to dispose of the container later.
That bastard. He totally knew we were gonna throw those fire grenades.
Which means, did Nagito exchange the contents of a fire grenade?
Yeah, that has to be it.
When I first discovered those fire grenades, I tried to study them a little bit, but the canister was completely sealed shut by a layer of aluminum underneath the lid.
A blue piece of
You
aluminum.
just have to peel off that seal and swap the insides, right?
That is true, but there was no sign he was even at the break room.
Hold on. Did you?
Hajime,
If so, then there's no mistake.
Seriously? That's impossible.
Sonia's words are proof that the poison... Huh?
I can prove it with this. Take a look. We found this under Nagi.
Huh?
No. The seal I saw on that fire grenade matched this. It is the same aluminum.
You found the aluminum seal under Nagi?
There's more. He also found a gas mask and gloves under his bed, too.
Did he use those when he put the poison inside the fire grenade?
It's a dangerous poison after all. He took extreme caution when swapping them.
So, what's the issue? Nagito put the poison in the grenade canister, brought it with him, breathed it in, and died, right? So in the end, he still
You're right. The canister wasn't thrown away. Then it just means that there wasn't...
See, I told you.
I admit that there wasn't an accomplice. In actuality...
What did you say?
Hey, what are you planning?
What the hell?
Is this not settled? There is no
No, it's not.
Just
I'm sorry.
realized what?
We know Nagito used the grenade so when was it deployed in the warehouse? When I thought along those lines...
The horrifying truth?
One of y'all killed him.
Probably happened at the same time.
When we all threw the grenade.
I see. Are you saying it was when we all threw the fire grenades?
Yeah, I think so. When we all threw the grenades to put out the fire in the warehouse, the poison was deployed, and it converted...
If that is true,
One of us? What the heck?
One of us threw the poisoned grenade that killed Nagito?
Hold on a sec. Then Nagito was...
It would mean he didn't kill himself.